my YT homies, it's your girl Alethea coming back with another video. What it do, and what it do. What's up, ladies? Welcome back to the channel for another video. If you are new here, I thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Don't forget to subscribe before you catch up out of here. And to my older but goodies, you guys know I rocks with you. Like Michael Jackson back in the 80s. When did he make Rock With You? I don't even know. I don't even know. Anyway, a couple of you guys have asked me to tell you guys how I met my wife, and here is that video finally. I know I probably left some important things out, and y'all, I was kind of all over the place with this video in some moments, but bear with you, girl, as you know, bear with you, girl. It's kind of like when you're going down memory lane and you're trying to tell people what happened, what's going on, yada yada yada, all that good jazz. Sometimes you miss some things, and sometimes you tell too much, and whew. Yeah, so like I said, if you're interested in how I met my wife, then please continue to watch. So let's go ahead and get this party started. When I tell you guys, this is the third time that I have recorded this video of telling you guys how I met my wife. The third time. It is ridiculous. And what happened the second time, it was the lighting. I think that's what happened the first time as well, the lighting. So anyway, I'm not going to share because it's going to take me longer to share with you guys what I'm using and all that kind of stuff, especially with the fact that this is with me and not a tutorial. So I'm not going to focus on products. I'm just going to focus on getting my face done and talking to you guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this conversation started. Let's go back, way back. So I've told you guys before that I have, before this time with my weight loss journey, and I will say this time with my weight loss journey, I have kept it out the longest. I have maintained where I'm at the longest. While I'm not where I want to be, I am definitely not where I used to be. So I say that all to say that I one day, throughout my years of getting gym memberships and stuff, I met this lady at the gym. And I think it was like 2004, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But I met this lady at the gym, and I talk to people. I talk to people wherever I go. I don't know. I mean, it's just me. That's just how I do. I'll talk to people, have conversations, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, ended up talking to this lady at the gym. And oddly enough, let me say this part first, but oddly enough, some of y'all know where I live. Y'all know my city and all that because you've told me that you know. So some of you guys know where I live and a lot of you don't know. So, but at any rate, in my city, there are people that know people, and of course people that don't know people, because you can't know everybody. Everybody doesn't know everybody. But I say that to say that while P is just a couple of years older than me, and yeah, she's just a couple of years older than me. She's like the same age as my older sister. So my older sister is a few months older than her, a couple of months older than her. But at any rate, I don't know, never have, and even to this day, still don't know anyone that P knew that I knew growing up, or we didn't have any mutual friends. Let me say that. We didn't have any mutual friends. We knew some of the same people. That's a lie. We knew some of the same people because as we went back looking at yearbooks and things like that, we knew some of the same people. We just didn't know, we weren't friends with the people that, so to speak. This doesn't sound right. This just sounds like it's going down into a hole. But at any rate, so like I was saying, I was at the gym one day and I met this lady at the gym, and I was just talking to her and conversing with her. And she got to talking to me about Weight Watchers, because Weight Watchers is what she did. It was what she did to help her lose weight or to maintain her weight and all that. So she was telling me about it, and I myself was thinking about joining. But of course, I'm just going to be honest. I was like, I can't join Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is too high for me, baby. It is too high for me. So anyway, we ended up exchanging numbers over talking about Weight Watchers. So we exchanged numbers and became friends. And she was a friend of P's, and I did not know that, of course, because I did not know P at the time. So one day she invited me to go out to dinner with her and some friends. So I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything, I might as well go. And at that time, my ex and I were still together, and I asked her, did she want to go? And she said no, she didn't want to go. But as I told you guys before, I didn't tell you guys, but when it comes to, I talked about her in a video. Y'all just didn't know it was her that I was talking about. But when it comes to going out and doing things, those things are pretty much something that I did myself. My ex wasn't into going out and all that kind of stuff. And she was older than me, and we kind of somewhat didn't have the same interest, I guess you could say. So anyway, I went to meet my friend. Her name was Vanessa. It is Vanessa. And oddly enough, Vanessa and I lost touch with each other, but P and I stayed in touch. But so I went to dinner, and I went to meet Vanessa at the restaurant. And when I got there, one of their other friends was there, or one of Vanessa's friends. I don't remember whether or not this other lady was P's friend or not. But Vanessa was there, and we were sitting there talking. And then here comes this other lady in to come to dinner. And immediately, one of the things that I noticed about her was her style, her clothing style. I've always been into how people dress and things like that. Even if it's not like I would dress, I've just always been into how people dress. So anyway, when she came in, I immediately noticed the way she dressed. And I thought she was a nice looking lady, but there was no interest in her, because of course I was with somebody, so I wasn't looking for anybody, but I did notice certain things about her. I will say that. So anyway, we sat, we talked, we enjoyed our meal and all that. And at some point during the meal, I don't know what made us end up exchanging numbers, but Patrice and I changed numbers. I'm so used to calling her P with you guys that it's hard for me to say Patrice. But anyway, so we exchanged numbers, and we started communicating with one another. So we kind of gathered a closeness, and mind you, I think this was, like I said, what year was this? This was about 2005, 2006. It was a long time ago, 2005, 2006, something like that. Because I started school in 2007, and it just so happened for her job, she was taking classes at the same university I was at, and we ran into each other at the school. So maybe that was when we exchanged numbers again, or was it I don't remember, but either way it goes. So we ran into each other then, and throughout the years we gathered a friendship, and we would talk to each other. We would talk to each other about things going on in our lives, about our relationship, about just whatever. And you guys know I do hair, so there were even times where I came and I did her hair, came to her house and I did her hair for her. And strange as it is, I don't do her hair now. She does her own hair. But I mean, there's like not much for me to do to her hair. But anyway, so we became friends, and we just would communicate, and I would talk to her when I would have issues in my relationship with my ex. She would tell me about things that were going on in her life, and we would just be like each other's sounding board when things were going on. And so as time went on, we would call each other and not call each other and all that kind of stuff, because I'm one of those people that I don't, how should I say it? I don't hang out like with people on a regular basis or anything like that. I'm not one of those people. I have some friends that are close, and we will hang out and stuff, but I'm not one of those people that I gotta be hanging out with my friend all the time. I'm past that point, and I was past that point back then. I'm definitely past it now that I'm older. But so anyway, with that being said, we did go out, hang out a couple of times, and I came over her house to a few parties. And mind you, she would have some little gatherings and stuff, and we don't have any gatherings. That baffled me. You know, I told her one time, I said, now before we got together, every time I turn around, you had something going on at your house. But then when we got together, you don't have nothing. No kind of party, nothing. So move on, let's move forward to after my ex and I split up, and I talked to her about that. She talked to me about when her and her ex split up and all that. And I remember when her and her ex had split up, and we were talking, and some of the things she was telling me, I was like, you know, I know she wanted to be back. I knew she wanted to be back with her, but I kind of didn't like her ex. I'm not even gonna lie. So I was like, good riddance to the helper. Now, mind you, there was nothing with us, of course, at this time, but I just didn't like the ex. I would see her. I saw them one time at a fair at the amusement park here when it comes to town, and girl, that thing rolled her eyes at me. I'm like, baby, I don't want your woman. I'm not even interested in her. She's not even my cup of tea. This is what I'm saying to myself about P at the time, because I wasn't interested in her. Now, I'm not going to say she wasn't my cup of tea, but, you know, that's what I was saying to myself. She ain't even my cup of tea. But, you know, because at that point we were really good friends, she wasn't my cup of tea. But had I met her when I wasn't with somebody, she might have been my cup of tea. But anyway, one time she had a party, and I came over to this party, and her ex had actually split up at that point. But the ex was still coming around, and the ex was in fact at that party, at that particular party. So, and one of her friends at that party, somebody asked me at the party, was I her girlfriend? And I was like, no goodness, nope. And I wasn't. And it was so funny that here we were all these years ago, somebody asking, was I her girlfriend? And then I turn around and end up later being her girlfriend. As time went on, and like I said, my ex and I split up, and I had my roommate, and I decided I wanted to get a pool in my house. And when I got the pool put in my backyard, I shared pictures of the pool and all that kind of stuff. And she called me and she was like, hey, Alethea, how you doing? Da 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 da. And this is how it goes to show that sometimes somebody can be interested in you and you never even know it. So she was calling me, and she called me and she mentioned my pool, about getting in the pool. I put on too much primer, so let me let this dry. But anyway, so she mentioned coming by and getting in the pool and all that good jazz, yada yada yada. I was like, okay, yeah, you can come over, da 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 da. Girl, please. I was like, I'll call you and let you know. Never called her, said anything about coming over. This is one summer. Here we go to the next summer, and this is the summer of 2017. Because the first summer was summer of 2016. So here we go to the summer of 2017. And here she goes calling again, saying something about coming over, getting in the pool. This is after I posted a pic. And I'm like, yeah, girl, you know, we need to hook up. We need to get together. You come by. I said, I'll give you a call, da da da. Never gave her a call. So here we come to around Christmas time. And my mom, my daughter, and myself, we were all out at the Dollar Tree. And we were shopping for some stuff for the New Year's party thingamajig at church. And so she called me and she was like congratulating me on my weight loss. But she also was asking me what did I do to lose weight. And that question sometimes is a turn off. I'm not even gonna lie, by some people, not by everybody, but by some people. And the reason why it's a turn off is because sometimes people be asking you what you did to lose weight, not because they're sincerely interested in doing whatever you did, but because they're like trying to be nosy and be all up in your business. And sometimes they actually want the advice, but they don't be taking the advice. So I just be like, I ain't even got time to be dealing with this. So anyway, so then we were talking and stuff, and she mentioned hanging out and all that. And I'm like, yeah, we can hang out. Once again, probably wasn't even in my agenda. Well, I'm not gonna say probably. It wasn't in my agenda to call and hang out right then at that time, because during that time I was past my ex and I, because I had got a friend. Wasn't a relationship or anything like that, but I had me a little friend, if you know what I mean. So I had me a little friend, but we were also dealing with my stepfather. He had, you guys know, my stepfather passed in 2018, and he had early onset dementia. So we were dealing with that. I was dealing with that in my life at the time, and I just wasn't really worrying about hanging out and all that kind of stuff. And I was going through some other things in my life. And yeah, I just wasn't there. I guess I put it that way. Wasn't there with hanging out. So, and it wasn't so much as I wasn't there with hanging out with her. Just wasn't there with hanging out with anybody right then. So anyway, one day though, after that, she texted me and she asked me, did I want to go to dinner? And I'm sorry, I keep looking in the viewfinder. But she asked me, did I want to go to dinner? And I found it so funny when she asked me, did I want to go to dinner? Because when she asked me, she put in all caps, I'll drive. And mind you, we had went out and hung out a couple of times before throughout the years, but neither one of us ever picked each other up. We drove. She would drive her car, I would drive my car, we would meet each other there. So when she said that, I'm like, she'll drive. Does she call herself trying to like me? But I'm like, oh no, okay. Can't be. This is my friend. Can't be. She can't be going this route. So I'm like, okay. Funny part, let me tell y'all, the funny part about it, I told one of my really good friends about her asking me that, about her asking me to go to dinner and saying that, oh, she said she'll pick me up and she said she'll pay, and it was in all caps. And so when I told my friend about it, she was like, why she had that now she gonna pay? And that's just a turn off. So, but me being me, I was like, well, I think maybe because we've never paid for each other's meals, or maybe because she wants me to see that this is different from other times she did that. So, but yeah, that's what she said. And so I'm like, okay. So I did let her pick me up, and we did go to dinner, right? So while we were at dinner, we talked, we kind of caught up throughout the years. I kind of told her what happened with me and my ex, and I knew what happened with her and her ex because they split up before me and my ex split up. But I mean, I didn't know whether she was with somebody at the time or not. I wish she was with somebody, but it wasn't a relationship. So she had a little situationship going on. Let me call it that, a situationship. And so, but she didn't say at the time when we went to eat dinner, she didn't let me know then that she was interested. But like I said, I kind of had a feeling she was. So then after that, she invited me to go out to eat again. And so I'm like, okay. And then when we went out to eat this time, which she didn't tell me until later, because I'm a hugger. I mean, not right now, I'm not a hugger, but I'm a hugger. And so even if I've seen you like a couple of days before or something like that, we go out to eat or whatever, I greet you, I'm gonna hug you, how you doing, all that kind of stuff. Before we leave, I'm gonna hug you. And you know, that's just my way of showing, I guess, not camaraderie, but I don't know, fellowshipping, whatever, I don't know. So she was like, when I hugged her, she was like, she didn't know how to take it because, you know, and she thought, I guess, I don't know. I don't remember what she said, but it was so funny what she told me about when I hugged her. And so I was like, it was almost like she was saying that I was letting her know or making it seem like I wanted to holler at her. I'm like, no, I hug anybody. That's just me. This is what I do, you know. So anyway, she turned around, and this is where I really knew that she was interested in me. She invited me to come over her house to watch a movie. And this was not inviting me, well, let me not say that, because I did come over her house before, years before, to watch a movie or what have you. But it was just something, there was just something that was just different about her asking me to come over and watch a movie this time. You know, there was just something that was different about it. So by this time I told my mom, I was like, Mama, I think Patrice likes me. I'm like, I don't know, but I think she does. And my mom knew her, because most of the people in my life, if you get to the point to where we have a friendship, then you are going to meet my mom, because most of the people that I hang out with, friends and stuff like that, meet my mom at some point. It's just, it is what it is. And if you don't get to the point to where you meet my mom, we obviously we're just associate friends or what have you, not hangout friends. Because if we hang out at some point, you're going to see my mom. Anyway, so my mom was like, well, don't go. And it wasn't, let me clarify, it wasn't because I was like, I think she's interested in me, should I go? And she was like, no. And it wasn't like she was saying don't go because she didn't like her. It was, she was saying don't go if you're not ready. Because if she does want something and you don't lead her on. Don't start something that you know you're not willing to finish, so to speak. And she also knew about my little friend, and she was like, what are you going to do about that if, you know, she does want something else? Well, and I told her, I said, well, I'm going to hang out. I said, but if she says something about being in a relationship or whatever, yada, yada, it ain't even happening, because I'm not even interested. This is what I said. And I wasn't. I'm just going to be totally honest. I really wasn't. At the time, I wasn't. And not because of my ex or anything like that, because I was past my ex, but because I didn't know if I was just yet ready to, I didn't know if I was ready to start over, to go into a relationship, to give my heart to someone else after I had spent all those years with my ex and going through things. So anyway, so I was just like, okay. So I came over to her house and we went and got wings. And we went and got wings and we came and we watched the movie and all that good jazz, right? And so, you know, we just chilled, we just hung out and all that. And it just, I mean, and it did feel good to go and hang out and do something, hang out with somebody or what have you. But once again, I still was like not feeling, I mean, at this point, I'm just like, I just wasn't feeling like, okay, I was going to, you know, we were going to have a relationship or anything like that. So then in the midst of when I was getting ready to go home, and it was really late. It was really late. And so I was getting ready to go home and she was like, no, you don't have to go home. You can stay over here, whatever, yada, yada. So I stayed over here, which is where we are now, which is where we live. I stayed here that night and, you know, just hung out with her and we were up late talking and all that kind of stuff until we fell asleep. And then the next day, well, the next morning before I left is when she asked me would I be her girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, literally. I laughed. I literally, oops, too much. I literally laughed. And if I were her, I would not have talked to me anymore. And I told her, I'm like, you're my friend. We can't do that. We can't get into a relationship. You're my friend. No. I got powder everywhere just then, y'all. But it's like, you're my friend. No, we can't. You know, I'm just like, this wouldn't work. Y'all, I'm like so sick of loose powders. I really am. They're like getting on my nerves. So I'm like, no, blah, 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 what have you. So I didn't say no. Let me say that. I did not say no at the time. I just said, I think about it. I told her I wasn't sure, but I would think about it. I would consider it. So we continued to hang out, call each other, talk to each other. And there were a couple of times, no lie, when we would have conversations about certain things, y'all, where I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. This is not it. She is not it. This is not it. Where we stand on situations is different. This is not it. No, this is not it. But I ain't gonna say, I was about to say I kept giving it a chance, but I gave it a chance just to see how things were, and we would communicate and all that. And like I said, at this point still, I never had told her that I would be her girlfriend. And then my stepfather passed, and then after he passed, when he passed, she was there with me. She went to the funeral. She actually helped me pick out my dress for the funeral and all that, because she thinks she's my fashion advisor. But she helped me pick out my dress for the funeral, and she went to the funeral, and she was just there. She was a really good friend, being there for me and all that through everything. And what made me realize, what made me realize that what made me finally realize that I did have an attraction to her. We went on a cruise, me, my friend, and my daughter, for spring break that year. And while we were on the cruise, I don't get the calling plan. When we go on the cruises, I don't get plans to call home and all that, because my thing is, I'm on this cruise. I'm on this cruise to get away from everything. What am I gonna keep calling home for? Because that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, if something happens, I give them the cruise line before I leave that I'm on. So it's like, okay, if something happens and you really, really need to contact me, fine, contact me. But I'm not about to be calling home on a daily basis when I'm on a cruise and I'm supposed to be enjoying myself. Right. So with that being said, last time I talked to her was right before we right before we left from where we were docked at. I talked to her, and it was during this time where I talked to her. Well, after I talked to her that time and we were going through the days and stuff like that, I started to miss her. And I was like, oh my God, I actually miss her. And then I was like, maybe I do like her. I'm trying to find my eyeliner, y'all. And I was like, maybe I do like her. So then I was like, well, if she asks me again to go out or to be her girlfriend, you know, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go ahead and tell her yes. Because like I said, I was missing her. And lo and behold, she did turn around and ask me again to be her girlfriend. And I said yes. But this was after I got home. And I did let her know that I missed her while I was gone. So there you go. I know it was supposed to be how I met her, but I kind of went a little bit beyond how I met her. Now, I'm not going to go into how we got engaged and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not going to go into all that. But there is one thing that I do want to talk about besides us. How are you guys doing in your districts when it comes to school? Okay, so here in our district, you know, with the students coming back and all that, there are cases in our city of students that have tested positive, and I don't think we're getting all the information. Just being totally honest, I don't think we're getting all the information. We have this one high school, which our school, we only have like 300 and some students that have come back, but there's this one high school that has over 800 students that have come back because they're a larger school. And I'm thinking, with that many students, I know they have to have some cases that have gone on, some stuff that's going on. I know they do, you know? So now we're at the point with the second 9 weeks, and parents are able to change their election and decide whether or not their students are going to, their children are going to stay virtual, stay traditional, return to virtual, return to virtual, or return to traditional. They can decide that right now, and I still haven't decided whether I'm going to, which route I'm going to take with my daughter. I haven't decided whether or not she's going to be traditional or virtual this 9 weeks. I'm thinking and leaning more towards keeping her virtual because, and even though she's at school and she's in my room with me, I'm able to monitor her with having on her mask and all that kind of good jazz. So I'm able to see that she is maintaining and doing what she needs to do during this time. But if she returns to school, I can't see that. But also at the same time, my daughter is a senior, and I should be able to trust that she's going to do what she has to do without me hovering over her as if she's 9 or 10. Also, I'm going to see if I can find the link to put it in the description box so you guys can help me out and vote. So in the state of Georgia, our EOC, or end of course exam, accounts for 20% of a student's grade. And because they're having state testing for some grades, and my grade level is one of them, and my subject is one of them that they're having the testing for, the state board meeting, the state superintendent voted to have the state testing go from the 20% to 0.01%. But the members of the state board voted against that, and they voted for it to go to 10%. And his rationale is that it's crazy for them to want to have this test at such a high stakes level during a pandemic, right? And here's the thing, the testing counts towards our evaluations as teachers. Let me move this back in. Counts towards our evaluations as teachers. So, and right now during the pandemic, there are a lot of students that are not focused. There are a lot of students that aren't doing some of the things that they're supposed to do. And it's not just at my school, it's all over. Because I'm in groups with teachers on Facebook from all around the world, and we are all having some of the same problems. And girl, don't even talk about or think about testing students, because that's a whole different beast. Trying to test some students that are not sitting in your room in your face, that's a whole different beast. Students on the computer, you got Quizlet. There are all types of programs and things out there where students can go to get answers, and it is just ridiculous. So One of the reasons why we test students in school is to get data, to see what they're doing, how they're doing, what we did, what we need to teach again that students don't have an understanding of, and all that kind of good jazz. Well, if students are getting answers off of the internet and they're cheating, you can't use that data because it's skewed data. Because you don't know what they know because they've gotten answers from somewhere else. And they cannot cheat on the end of course exam. So cheating your way through the whole school year is not going to help when it comes time to take this end of course exam. And do you think students care about that? No. Some of them just care about getting a grade at whatever cost, and some of them don't care, you know. So it is what it is. So I just think that the testing should be at the 0.01. So now, and why I brought this subject up, right now it is out there for the public, no matter who you are, concerned citizen, parent, teacher, both, anyone else in the educational system, whatever role you may have, you can now vote on whether or not it goes to 10% or 0.01%. So like I said, if I can find that link, what is that on this lash? Like I said, if I can find that link, I am going to put it in the description box. I ask that as concerned citizens, you guys vote for us. Help us out. Help your girl. Help me and help my colleagues out. Help us out. Let's see. Let me try one of these Juvia's Place. I mean, I'm getting ready to go in a little bit, and I'm going to put on a mask, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, but I'm going to my mom's house, and then I'm going to the grocery store to get some salad stuff because I want a salad for dinner, and I'm making some chicken breast with the salad. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to go to the store to get I think I want to try this one. What's it, 2020, or do I want to put on Libra? I have these Juvia's Place lipsticks I'm about to put on. Which one do you guys think? Wish I could get your results right now. I think I'm gonna go with 2020.